Hey, what's going on, guys? I hope you all are doing well today. Elliot here. Welcome back to The Fragrance Well. So, let's get right to it, man. We're deep into that holiday season. We're in the full and thick of it as me shooting this video in between Thanksgiving and Christmas. You got Kwanzaa, you got Hanukkah, etc., etc., etc. And even if you don't celebrate any form of any holiday that's coming up during this time of year, it doesn't matter. You still can pretty much see stuff associated with it, and you are likely going to come across some smells associated with the holiday season. So that is what we are talking about today. I call it holiday scents, holiday smells, and I've got 10 of them here for today's video. Some of these are going to be kind of obvious ones that are kind of known throughout the community to be great holiday fragrances. Some of these I think don't necessarily smell like the holidays, but they are great for occasions around the holidays. And some of these really are what I would call wild cards, but I think they can still work for certain holiday events. So before we get started, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you do like the content, and remember, hit that bell icon so you can be notified when I upload new videos. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get it started. First up, this one shouldn't be a surprise to anyone that's been in the community for some time, from the House of Burberry. This is London. Burberry, London. So, I'll be honest, I heard from other content creators when I first started collecting that this fragrance basically smells like the holidays or Christmas in the bottle. So I thought that was very interesting. I thought that was intriguing. So I did get a bottle. You can see I got a tiny little 30 ml. I don't know why I didn't just get a bigger one. It's so cheap. But as soon as I got my nose on it, I completely understand that sentiment. This absolutely just smells like the holidays in a bottle. Great spice profile, has an interesting port wine note. There's some tobacco, there's some smoky resins in this, some smoky woods. It definitely just makes me think of the holidays full stop. Now, unfortunately, this fragrance is a pretty horrendous performer, or at least that's most people's experience with it. I think for what I might wear this for, and I'll be honest, I don't wear it that often, but I would maybe wear it for like a family dinner or something like that, a family outing during the holidays. And with that, I don't need beast mode performance. So for that usage alone, I would say the performance is fine. 4 to 6 hours. I mean, not great, but especially given with what's in here, that's not very good. But for a certain occasion, it might be perfect. But I know there's plenty of people that like to wear this year round. It does smell outstanding, and therefore it is a shame that it doesn't perform that well. But hey, it's very, very cheap, so you could spray it away and get another bottle if you really, really like it that much. Once again, from the House of Burberry, this is London. Alright guys, next one's from the House of By Kilian, and this is Angel Share. By Kilian, Angel's Share. So for me, this is holiday dessert drink, pretty much. Has some booziness to it, of course. Has a very roasted nuttiness, kind of like chestnuts or hazelnuts. I can't remember exactly which one is in here. There's some praline. I did say cognac, plenty of spice, a lot of cinnamon, some smoky woods. To me, the fragrance literally just smells like a dessert cocktail that you would get around the holiday season, and the spice profile also just kind of smells like something you might smell if someone has, you know, certain smells going on in their house around the holiday season, especially like cooking certain desserts or something like that. You all definitely know this one well. This is a fan favorite in the community as well as outside of it. Very popular fragrance, very well done fragrance in my opinion. I really do enjoy wearing this scent, and I do think this is an easy one that people might go for around the holidays, if not just really cold weather in general. In general, I think people just look forward to bringing this out when it gets cooler, and some people probably just wear it all the time because they love it so much. Once again, from the House of By Kilian, this is Angel's Share. Alright, next one's coming from the House of Hugo Boss. This is Boss Bottled Intense. Boss Bottled Intense. Now, let me go ahead and apologize now. I know this is discontinued. I don't know if anyone can find it. I kind of grabbed it when, you know, it was somewhat still in stock, but not a lot. So, you know, I'm glad I got it because of that. But Beyond all that, the fragrance does kind of have that apple pie, cinnamon and apple and woods combination going for it. I would say it's not as good as many others out there that do the same thing. First one that comes to mind is something like Parfums de Marly's Wajan. I think that does do this better, but nevertheless, this does remind me of the holidays. Just the spice profile alone, that kind of cinnamon and apple combination. This fragrance, I wouldn't really consider it gourmand. Doesn't exactly smell like food, but it does sit in that family of fragrances that you can definitely put into that holiday smell category. So once again, from the house of Hugo Boss, this is Boss Bottled Intense. All right, next one's coming from the house of Lalique, and this is Ombre Noire. Lalique Ombre Noire. I've talked about this one quite a few times on the channel, and I've said it pretty much every time that it smells like Christmas time in a whiskey cellar or something like that. There's a little bit of scent memory associated with this fragrance for me outside of the booziness that it has. I remember as a kid, I went to a tree farm, a Christmas tree farm, and it was definitely in cool temperature, and they had like a ton of apple cider there, so it kind of had the smell of the dry pine and cedar-like woods, and that spice profile, that heavy cinnamon and peppermint style spice profile, along with that apple from the apple cider. And I just can remember vividly all of those smells. Even though I did not like apple cider, I still don't really care for it, but the smell was so strong, it definitely stuck with me. So this fragrance reminds me of that with the added booziness element. This is a wonderful fragrance from the house of Lalique. And like I said, this immediately put me into that holiday scent profile, and I think this is probably the best one in my collection that kind of really just sticks to that. You can certainly use the fragrance for other stuff, but if you've ever been in that similar type of scenario where those smells are there, I think you would have a similar scent memory or association with a fragrance like this. So once again, from the house of Lalique, this is Ombre Noire. All right, guys, so those first four fragrances are the ones that I think pretty much smell like the holidays. The rest of these I think are just kind of good uses or maybe even just wild cards. Next one, coming from the house of Tom Ford, this is Oud Wood. Tom Ford, Oud Wood. Now, this fragrance definitely does not have a holiday smell or scent profile, but I mean, Oud Wood works for a lot of stuff, and particularly if it's cool or cold outside, it's a great fragrance to go to. So I'm thinking, hey, wear this during the holidays to an evening event, wear it for a night out, a date night. Throughout the holidays, the scent will just work great. Wonderful spice profile, great woodiness to it, very easy to wear, and I think that spice woody combination that it has lends itself to being, you know, a good cold weather fragrance. And why not work around the holidays, particularly if you live somewhere where it is a little cooler, and even if it doesn't, who cares? It's so good, wear it anyway. Once again, from the house of Tom Ford, this is Oud Wood. All right, next one's coming from the house of Xerjoff. This is Alexandria II. Xerjoff's Alexandria II. Now, this is another one that I don't think the scent profile necessarily just makes me think the holidays right off the bat, but it does have apple in it. It does have cinnamon, so, you know, similar notes that you might find in fragrances that give off a holiday vibe. But this one, kind of similar to Oud Wood. It's just great for the cool weather, and I would use it for the exact same occasions. Night out, evening out, date night out, get together with people, get together with family. I think this fragrance is great for the cool months in general, and I would definitely wear it for the holiday season. I love the spice and freshness that this has, coming from a little bit of lavender, and then when it dries down to getting those couple of varieties of oud that this fragrance has, the woodiness on the dry down is to die for. It is delicious. So once again, from the house of Xerjoff, this is Alexandria II. All right, guys, next one's coming from the house of Amouage, and this is Boundless. Amouage Boundless. So this is an Amouage fragrance that has kind of floated under the radar. It's a good fragrance. I think people that have gotten their nose on it do like it, but it's definitely not a hype beast, if you will. But this is kind of considered to be a spicy and woody resinous vanilla fragrance. When you first spray it on, it has this kind of dark citrus, spice, almost fizzy-like feel to it. You don't really pick up much vanilla. The vanilla kind of comes in at the heart of the fragrance, and in the base you got a lot of resins incense, woods, a little bit of patchouli in there, a lot of frankincense. There's like myrrh and a popping axe. It's a little bit smoky. It kind of has that Middle Eastern profile in terms of having a lot of woods and spices. Kind of similar to Oud Wood and Alexandria II. Just a good fragrance for this time of year temperature wise, and wear it to the exact same occasion. The vanilla in here is not really gourmand, so I don't get much of a gourmand style vanilla in this. It's more of just kind of a natural vanilla before you've added a bunch of sugar or put it with a bunch of other food accords, so it doesn't have that kind of vanilla profile, which I like. Really interesting and good release from the house of Ombre Noire. It's been out for what, a couple of years now, but I think it's great for this time of year. Once again, from Ombre Noire, this is Boundless. All right, guys, next one's coming from the house of Mason Francis Kirkjohn, and I figured we gotta have at least one amber fragrance on here. You know what it is. It's Grand Soir. Mason Francis Kirkjohn, Grand Soir. So this is another one. I don't think the holidays when I smell it, but I mean, come on, this is perfect for this time of year. Any kind of cool weather, especially winter temps, if it gets really cold where you are once the holiday season starts to roll around, this fragrance is perfect for that. Rich, thick, dense, resinous amber mixing with like really syrupy vanilla, but that's not too sugary. It's just very dense. Lots of benzoin in this. A little bit of a smokiness with some labdanum as well. A little bit of a resinous feel. Just a touch of spiciness kind of sprinkled on the top. The fragrance is gorgeous. It's a masterpiece in my opinion. Poll in the chat. Who thinks MFK is going to release a cold weather fragrance within the next 2 years? I'll wait. I kid MFK, but I mean, it would be nice to get another fragrance similar to this one, or even another one in the Oud series. I'm not sure where else they would want to go with that. They've discontinued most of it. But we've gotten a lot of freshy, warm weather releases over the last few years. It would be nice to get something in the different direction. And hopefully it is as good as a lot of the cold weather offerings that MFK has, especially something like this. I don't think this is necessarily going to go anywhere. It's still very popular. I do think it still sells well, but it would be nice to get something new. But anyway, I digress. Once again, from the house of Mason Francis Kirkjohn, this is Grand Soir. All right, guys, next one's coming from the house of Tiziana Terenzi. This is Ursa. Tiziana Terenzi's Ursa. So if you know anything about this fragrance, this is pretty much a resin-rich, incense, dried fruits, boozy, leather-like fragrance. Not gonna be for everyone. This one to me is going to be the wild card for this list. Again, I think to most people it doesn't necessarily represent the holidays, but to me it kind of does in a strange way. I love the way the booziness, the rum accord mixes with the dried fruits accord in here. This is a wonderful dried fruits accord in this fragrance. If you like dried fruits accords, definitely got to check this one out. And like I said, just a lot of resins. There's a little bit of incense in there, some slight earthy accords, a good amount of leather. There's a couple of varieties of oud in the fragrance as well. You do pick up the oud, but I think it's one that's wearable, so to speak. If I had to put a situation on this in terms of the holiday list, formal event for sure, fancy night out, something like that, or even a family get together where you're not spraying it a million times. This fragrance does pack a little bit of a punch. You don't need a ton of it. I wouldn't say it's like beast mode or anything like that, but I would say the scent profile, if you overspray it, might come off a little off-putting. It doesn't necessarily require you to spray it a ton of time. Very interesting scent from the house of Tiziana Terenzi. I love the quality of it, and if you're a fan of resinous fragrances that feature things like notes like myrrh, things like that, and dried fruits and booziness and leather, this might be one worth checking out. Once again, from the house of Tiziana Terenzi, this is Ursa. All right, and the final fragrance for this list, coming from the house of Emporio Armani, this is Stronger With You, Absolutely. Emporio Armani, Stronger With You, Absolutely. So this fragrance is definitely gourmand, for sure, especially if you're familiar with it or even just familiar with the line. There's a lot of gourmand facets to this line. This one has some nice rum accords in it, has a kind of candied chestnut or hazelnut kind of vibe. I can't remember which one it is. Called Marin Glace, basically candied nuts of that variety. A little bit of lavender in here to give it a little bit of a freshness, some elemi resin too. Really nice vanilla scent. This one is going to be sweet, boozy, but sweet. And as far as I'm concerned for the holidays, this is the one you wear if you want to be the center of attention. Major attention grabber here, smells very intoxicating in the air, and is a very big crowd favorite and fan favorite, especially within the community. I still cannot understand why this line is not readily available at your average store in the States. It blows my mind. I mean, this is such a popular fragrance line, and so many houses have copied after it, or at least done their take on it at least. Now, another one doesn't necessarily smell like the holidays, but let's be real, this one is perfect for cold weather and certainly great around this time of year. And I bet plenty of people have already worn this or a variety, or should I say, a fragrance from the line already. Once again, from the house of Emporio Armani, this is Stronger With You. Absolutely. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this list. That was 10 fragrances that I think can go great for the holiday season. Let me know down in the comments below, what's a couple of fragrances you like to specifically wear for the holidays, or something you just kind of wear around this time of year. I appreciate you guys watching all the way into the end. Remember to be well and smell well, and I'll see you in the next episode of The Fragrance Well. Have a good one.